So you got yourself a kick-ass phone shooting all these fancy resolutions. In this video, I'm gonna show you 10 cool and unique shots that will transform the way you shoot your videos, all using some simple and relatively inexpensive accessories. But if you wanna take your videos to the next level, you need to introduce movement. It's okay to have static tripod shots, but they can feel a little bit boring if you overdo it. If you wanna introduce pace and things to feel a little bit more dynamic, there is no way around it. You need to introduce motion to your shots. And this is what this video is all about. It and will transform the way you do your videos and give you incredible flexibility. And anyway, with that being said, let's just get the video going. A jib shot is the oldest trick in the book and is the most widely used way to introduce a scene or a location. It will add incredible production value to your videos and it's so easy to do. Frame your shot carefully, lift up the camera, and when it's as high as you can go, you stand up and now reach as far as you can go while keeping movements consistent. The secret here is to avoid any jerky moves that will throw off your viewers. If you happen to be in a cool location, touristic spot, or anywhere where it would be logistically difficult, if not impossible, to get a proper thing is that once you're done, the setup is so small, you simply pack and leave, and most people wouldn't even realize that you were filming in the first place. A techno gonna have people asking how on earth you managed to pull that off. And if you're in a touristic location like this one, try and get a permit to get a techno crane and do some filming here. Make your videos look incredible for nothing. To replicate the techno crane, all you need to do is introduce movement to a jib shot. It's that simple. You could even replicate the jib shot, revealing locations, following people, or just moving as your subject comes into the frame. These shots look amazing in car commercials, but you can easily add them to your videos now. This setup is so small that you won't be drawing any attention to yourself, which means that you can do it time and time again until you get it right without anyone asking you to leave. The inverted jib shot is similar to the jib shot, but you start at a much lower angle, and by doing so, you're increasing the traveling range. And what this means is that you get a much more dramatic effect, and the end result looks absolutely amazing. Honestly, doubling the distance the camera travels compared to starting at ground level will give you a much more spectacular effect. But for this hack to work, you rely on finding a spot where you can start at a lower angle and then crane up. If you find one and you're able to add an element in the foreground that you can crane over and reveal the scene, the results are mind-blowing. This is similar to the jib shot, but by adding a foreground element to it, not only feels much more dynamic, but also enhances the jib up or crane up effect. Having something in the foreground can literally make a boring jib shot look amazing. And if you're in a location with trees, plants, or lots of street furniture, honestly, this is the way to go. The results are exponentially better than simply using a wide establishing shot to introduce a location or scene. These type of shots will immediately add so much production value to your videos. This is a really interesting way to reveal or introduce a scene or an element within a scene. Get the motion right and the results are spectacular. Honestly, this little hack will add so much production value to your videos. The key here is to find something that complements the location that you're in and to make sure that you track back smoothly so both elements end in the frame correctly. It's so simple to do and will add so much production value to your video. This is a similar shot to the review shot that you just seen, but instead of tracking out, you're tracking. And all you need to do is find some street furniture or anything really that you can fit the gimbal through. You will get amazing looking footage and it's a fantastic way to introduce a scene or a location. You can create brilliant shots through holes, gaps in between trees or whatever you can see around you. The tighter the gap, the better and more spectacular the result. You just need to make sure the gimbal can fit through it. There might be times, depending on the location and space around you, that you might find it easier to track backwards and then reverse the motion in post. I can guarantee you that adding shots like this to your videos will have people thinking that you're spending some serious money to create your videos, when in actual fact, you aren't. For this next shot, I'll be using a micro dolly and we need to go to the studio. The tabletop micro dolly is a fantastic way to shoot products that you just wouldn't be able to with a larger camera. This small electric dolly allows you to do all sorts of angles and radius around a product, and you can go forward and backwards. And the coolest thing about it is that you get a little remote control with all the functions for the dolly control remotely. So you don't even need to touch the dolly once you set up. The end result looks amazing, and the fact that you don't even need to touch the dolly gives you so much flexibility. Macro dolly shots have to be the most difficult and challenging shots you could possibly ever do, for the simple fact that you need to get the camera so up close to the product. So using any larger camera with a long lens or macro lens, if you have the product on the table, it's pretty much impossible. I mean, you can get right up close, but getting a dolly movement on top of it is pretty much impossible. With this little hack, with this micro dolly and an extension arm, you can literally get the phone right up to the product and get some fantastic macro looking shots. It is a little bit tricky, I'll give you that, but once you get it all set up and you set your camera 4K and 60 frames a second, because this is really important, the end result looks amazing. You just slow the footage down in post and any wobble or jerky movement gets smoothed out and things look incredible. This next shot is a bicycle gimbal shot, and as the title says, is taking advantage of using a gimbal while riding a bicycle. You can get some really cool and smooth shots following someone whether they walk or they run. And they can even power run because you've got a bicycle and you can go really, really fast. You can also point the gimbal sideways and get some really amazing looking footage of the profile of a location or a venue. It looks brilliant, super smooth, and it will look amazing in your videos. This next shot is a bit of a strange one, so I don't really have a name for it, but it's relatively easy to do and you get some really good results. All you need is a camera. You don't need to have a camera this big. The smaller the camera, the better. A small monitor arm or magic arm, a ball mount, and a smartphone holder. The results are fantastic, and with just a few minutes setting this up, you will get shots that you will never be able to do with a larger or heavier camera. Just make sure that you position the phone in an angle so that you don't get the reflection on the lens. Okay guys, so this is the end result. I know it looks quite a setup, but it's simpler than it looks. The key here is to make sure that you angle the phone in a way so that you don't see the magic arm or whatever bracket you use to mount the phone to this rig. You can mount it at the top of the camera or at the bottom of the camera. I chose the bottom of the camera because this is a rather large camera. But with this setup, you get some really unique looking close-up shots. You can get really creative with this type of shots. You can use the reflection on the lens as a point of interest, splitting your audience attention. Even cooler, if you're into horror movies, you can have the reflection of a victim as he lies on the ground while the photographer is taking photos. There are so many creative ways that you can use this type of shots. This is it guys, this is the end of my 10 cool and unique shots with a smartphone and a gimbal. I really hope you enjoyed it and you got something positive out of it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Even better, smash that like button. It helps with the YouTube algorithm. Feel free to leave any comments or constructive criticism in the comments below. It helps to hear your views and opinions so that we can improve what we do or learn from any mistakes that we make. If you're new to the channel or you just bump onto it, consider subscribing. It helps us to see the numbers going up, plus it keeps us doing videos on a weekly basis. And with that being said, I'll see you in the next video.
Explain what's going on.
We're getting our filming ruined by a freaking helicopter, but not just a helicopter. We got helicopters, we got planes, we got boats, we got trees, we got trains at the back. I mean, it's just like getting 10 seconds of audio here. It's a freaking nightmare. You know, you always want to do city filming, but it's such a pain. You know, I'm not expecting any of these boats to suddenly turn on and go off for 15 minutes waiting for them to maneuver out of the bloody marina.
Still there.
Oh my
Bloody
God.
hell. Okay.
Anyway.